Okay. Okay, guys. Thanks again for coming this evening. And happy that everybody's doing well. And welcome to my Zoom little mini support group meeting here. So basically my role as a leader is just to guide us through a little mini meditation where I kind of link some of the concepts of the YouTube video we watched, and then hopefully just lead us in a discussion where we can share a little bit about our experience with triggers and mindfulness. So it's just really kind of informal, just want to like help encourage you guys and just clarify some of the strategies that we're going to talk about. So a quick cap about the rules here. It's basically, we don't want to say anything negative or criticize or things like that, or we don't want to talk about religion or politics because that can lead into a long discussion. We don't have time for all that. Ideally, we want to keep the camera on. I don't know, Amanda, I guess, I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, I'm gonna try to admit her again. So ideally, yeah, keep your camera on. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted here for a moment. And I think that's all the rules. Oh yeah, and what stays in the group, or what happens in the group stays in the group. So, yep. Does anybody have any questions about the rules? Hey, Amanda, thanks for coming.
Sorry, I had to download the app and then all kinds of stuff.
No problem. Yeah. So anyways, I just went over a brief, did you hear about the rules? Just basically like keep it positive, what stays in the group, or what happens in the group stays in the group, and no religion or politics talk or anything like that. And we were just kind of saying hello. Does anybody have any questions or anything or any comments about our rules? Okay, gotta have them, I guess, right? So, okay, just to clarify, the topic is triggers. And so our goal tonight is to maybe start to cultivate a more mindful way that we can respond to triggers with our children, instead of reacting, which can be really easy to do, or maybe even like deepen a practice that you're already doing that. If you're already kind of like working on that, then just to kind of like deepen that a little bit more so you feel a little bit more inspired and motivated, and maybe just getting you more on that kind of mindset to respond rather than react, which, really all starts in our minds, because like all of our stress is, of course, starting in our minds. And so we certainly have control over not what happens, but we have control over how we respond, right? So anyways, I like to think of it as a practice. So that's kind of what my goal is for everybody, just to help you to at least maybe start that practice or just get a little deeper into it, really. So any questions about the goal tonight? Okay. All right, so we're going to start off here with just a little mini meditation that I hope everybody can do. So just try your best, and if you guys, I know Amanda, you might have your kids around, so no worries here. But so we'll just take a moment to maybe start to straighten your spine, and we're just going to basically take a few minutes to just start to invite some stillness with this mini meditation here. So just doing this little mindfulness exercise that we might be able to do kind of a mini version tonight. And I hope you can kind of carry it over possibly after tonight. So anyways, finding that straight spine if you can. And then maybe beginning to close your eyes or just take your gaze down. And just beginning to start to observe our breath. So we just want to start to notice our next inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth or our nose. Just start to soften on that next exhale. So maybe you might start with your forehead as you inhale, and exhale, relaxing the forehead, and then maybe the temples on the next exhale, and then separating your jaw. And then we might, on the next exhale, feel the shoulders slide down the back. And then here, we're just going to take a moment to place a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly here. And start to physically feel your body move with your breath. And so we're just going to kind of naturally breathe here as we feel the rising and falling of our bodies with our breath. And then just noticing if you're feeling your chest rising. And then noticing if you're feeling your belly expanding and collapsing. So in the next inhale, see if you can start to bring the breath all the way to the belly as we practice our belly breath. So bringing it all the way to our belly, kind of like you're filling up a water bottle, filling up the breath from the belly all the way to the top, to the lungs, to the chest, the diaphragm, and then pressing it out as the belly draws in. Let's try to do this 2 more times here. As we inhale through the nose, really feeling that belly expand. And exhale. And maybe 1 more time. We'll go ahead and let our hands flip back down. Just taking a moment to notice any effect that the breath has on our body here. And then just as we sit here, just noticing any thoughts that are arising, just noticing any of those internal conversations that are coming up. And then taking a moment to recognize that those thoughts are not truth. They're just simply coming and going, just kind of energy that's coming and going. Taking a moment to recognize that our thoughts are not who we are. We're just kind of passing through the way that clouds pass through the sky. So just continuing to observe those thoughts that come up, maybe gently labeling them as thinking and taking the attention to the breath again. And the next inhale and exhale, just taking a moment to observe our energy, so our feelings here, just noticing how it feels in our bodies right now, just the energy in our bodies. You might even take a moment to label that, maybe tired or maybe content, whatever that is. And then just kind of noticing how that actually feels as we take a moment to be curious. Let's take a moment here to accept that feeling. So accepting however we feel by just letting go of the resistance of possibly the feeling. And the next exhale, and just welcoming our energy, our feelings. And so by welcoming it, we just let go of any expectation to feel any kind of way. And we just allow and welcome whatever state we're in. And then we'll just continue to redirect our attention gently to the breath here as we just breathe into that energy, breathing into whatever's there. Let's just end with maybe 3 more mindful breaths as we maybe place your hand back to your belly this time, just practicing those belly breaths again, maybe 3 cycles here, inhaling through the nose, feeling that belly expand and pushing the air out. And we'll do it a few more times. And once we get to that second, we'll just gently open our eyes. So I'm kind of used to doing that. I don't know what your experience is like for a meditation. I don't really actually know if anybody meditates, but anyhow, just would like to ask you guys if you all want to maybe take turns gently. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just said gently. I'm like kind of out of it or tired tonight anyway. I'm like still talking the meditation talk. Okay, so if you just want to take turns here, just sharing about your experience of what that was like, it could be any thoughts or feelings that came up, no right or wrong, or, no expectation with however that experience was for you. So just keep that in mind, no good or bad response here. So Mary, if you want to take a moment just to briefly reflect on that.
I start us off. Yeah,
sure.
I can start us off.
You're up top. So sorry, it worked out.
That's okay. I have done some meditation before, like in yoga class, or definitely like meditating on scripture and things like that. And then also at the hospital, I don't know, most of y'all know, might know that I'm a nurse, but anyways, they have meditation care channel that will play. I play it for my patients. So it's similar to how you led us. So
yeah,
I'm familiar with that. It's really calming. Like for me, I was just really calm during the process of like the breathing, taking a minute to breathe and just relax. It's really nice.
Okay,
Especially like one of the thoughts that came through my head was I have to pack, but then, it was like nice to just calm back down and say it'll be done afterwards. It'll be fine.
Totally. Awesome. So that's good. It was relaxing for you. It's not always the case. A lot of times people are like, I can't meditate. I have too many thoughts. It's not relaxing. But okay, so that's great for you that it was relaxing. So cool. What about you, Kathleen?
It was.
Yeah. What about you, Kathleen?
Yeah. I felt like the first part where you were like releasing your tension. It's like I didn't even have tension in my head, especially. So I could like feel, I don't think I've done like a little bit of yoga. And I'm kind of like you just described, where like my thoughts were like all over like I have to keep going back to like trying to focus. But focus on relaxing. But I think it's something to do more often. It would help.
Awesome.
I mean,
I agree. It's mm-hmm.
Probably would be good.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad that was relaxing for you as well. And I know feeling the tension is a neat experience, I guess, because it's like we don't always really feel it, and just sometimes just like taking the time to notice it can, I think, be really helpful. So that's good you're able to notice it. Yeah. What about you, Katie?
It's been a while since I meditated, but I kept thinking I was hungry, because I am. So that was going through my mind, and just, I don't know. I mean, it felt good. It was funny being camera too.
Oh yeah.
And doing it. Like,
it's true.
I think before, when I've meditated, I've just been alone. And so just, even though you guys, not here, I felt like other people were around. So that was different. But you know,
A good point.
I a little antsy though. It was hard for me to focus. I've done better before than I did tonight.
Yeah, that's a common experience. Feeling like restless, antsy, awkward. I mean, I that happens quite often with people, I think. So I hear, because I have a little meditation certificate, and so I'm kind of a little familiar with people's experiences, and that is the common experience to have, for sure. So yeah, but thanks for sharing. Amanda, were you able to meditate at all? And that's okay if you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, cool. Yeah, how was it for you? Just, yeah. Wait, hold on, what'd you say?
I was saying, I told the kids if they can't go to sleep, at least be quiet down there.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, it reminded me when I was a kid, I had like it was kind of like a certain type of asthma, and I had a breathing doctor. And when I went for a few sessions, he would make me lay on the ground to feel your stomach go up and down when you breathe. And that's what it reminded me. I have done like prenatal yoga, but that's really the only time I've done it. But that's what it reminded me of as a kid, just really focusing on your belly moving up and down as you breathe.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good thing to teach kids as well, like the belly moving up and down, like you can even put a toy in their belly or something like that. So yeah, that's neat that reminded you of that, because the belly breath is something that's easily forgotten about. And yeah, it's a good thing to, I think, reiterate.
Flat on my stomach, like as a kid, lay flat on my stomach and feel up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So basically, I was also trying to kind of do that mini meditation to link it to that little YouTube clip where we watched about being triggered, and then like basically breathing, hearing the thoughts in your head. Like she talked about the ego, but it's really just like our thoughts in our head that come up that are like not really the truth, and then to accept. So that was sort of like a meditation linking it to that. Did anybody have an experience where they felt triggered? So that could just be like any kind of upset because of your kiddos, and you practiced any of that, any of the breathing, or it could be one or all three. And like I said, there's like no right or wrong here, but just wondering if anyone was even able to start to even be mindful, even if you were triggered. That could also be something you guys could share, just like kind of noticing what happens when you get triggered, because a lot of times that's really the first step to improving, or basically helping ourselves. Is just that first step is just to be aware. So anybody want to share in that?
I was triggered. Didn't do anything that the YouTube video said, but but I was triggered and I knew it. I realized I was. So I guess I'm on the way to doing the right thing. I just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Need more detail?
If you want, it's totally up to you. I mean, and like, I hate thinking like right or wrong, because I think that, we're all where we need to be. And like, so, but yeah, so that's cool that at least you like know that or saw that you're triggered or witnessed that, because kind of like we just did, we're kind of like being our own witness. So anyways, yeah, whatever you want to share.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, like a work thing that was minor, but just like got to me. And I didn't do anything like bad. I didn't like, I just, happening was annoying. And, but I didn't do the stuff, but next time maybe I will.
Yeah. Okay. Did you remember like any thought you had or any feeling you had when you were triggered?
I was annoyed.
Okay. You said that. Okay. Annoyed.
I was mostly just like, I just thought it was silly. I just was like, this is silly, I don't know why
Yeah.
this isn't being talked about. That
Yeah.
kind of so yeah, I felt like that. And then I think I felt a little defensive too, or not defensive, but just argumentative. But yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just feeling that defensive is good to be aware of. That's
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just, it's hard when you're busy and then silly stuff comes up.
Totally.
I don't know. Annoyed, I think, is probably the best description.
Yeah. By the way, I think we have like just 3 minutes or something. Does anybody, can anybody relate? I know, where'd the time go? Can anybody relate to Katie about that, just irritated, annoyed, just over silly things? I'm sure everybody can really, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody wants to kind of expand on an experience of being triggered where you possibly felt irritated or something else.
Think of how, people used to say walk away. And that's what it kind of reminded me of, is like with kids, you don't get to always just walk away. But even if you just maybe like walk a few feet away and like just regroup and breathe, and I'm definitely going to try it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt the same way with the kids of just, I got triggered, I think a few days ago, with the kids, and just like lost it on them. And it was just like, just started yelling at them. And then this was before I watched the video though. So I'm going to try to do the breathing. My husband will often, like if we're in an argument, he'll often tell me, take a deep breath. And so I know about that, but actually when somebody tells you to do that, you don't want to take a deep breath. You want to kind of like tell them to stop telling me to take a deep breath. But it really does help when you like relax and just breathe before you respond, think before you respond. So definitely something to work on.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree. So any other thoughts in regards to just how any feelings that did come up or thoughts that came up when you guys got triggered this past like just a couple days or so? I just realized we might have a couple more extra minutes. I don't think, because it says 40 minutes. So I don't think I'm going to get cut off quite yet. So anyways, we might have 5 minutes. I think we have 5 minutes.
I did feel guilty. I will say I felt guilty. After I was angry, I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that sometimes when you're triggered, how the lady on the YouTube video was saying, like, it might be because of something that's happened or something in the past, and like you just don't even realize it. And so that kind of made me think, like, in the moment you're not thinking, but it kind of made me think, like, I wonder when this happens, like, is it consistent? Like, is it the same thing that's making me get upset or annoyed, and I've just never realized.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, definitely for me, it's usually a culmination of things that add up, and then I explode.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And it's usually the same thing that happens.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I think that it's like, basically she was saying that it's not what's really happening in that moment. It's like, it's representing something that's like has happened before, usually something bigger. So yeah, so what's happening in that moment usually isn't comparable to how we're feeling. It's like all the other things basically is what we're responding to, not really in the moment. So I think like the whole breath thing helps us to get possibly back into the moment, and it automatically calms our bodies. Does anybody have any input about practicing just recognizing your thoughts when you get triggered, or any just feeling anything that comes to mind about when you're feeling that way, and kind of ways that you might be able to start to kind of tune into what your mind is telling you or what you're thinking that may or may not be serving you well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Thinking negatively, or, you know, having an automatic negative thought
Mm-hmm.
when something.
Yeah. I think automatic is a good word too, because like a lot of times it's just automatic. Like we're not like picking that thought. It's just like coming up automatically, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think like when you noticing that thinking negative, that is like more of an automatic response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Just recognizing that it's like not the truth piece that she said in the YouTube video. But
Well, it takes some practice, like a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But it would probably be helpful.
I think if you know, if you do the breathing, then you can actually think of that. But first you have to tackle the breathing in order to get your even think with your mind like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. The breath really does help us to relax. It activates that parasympathetic system, helps us to think more logically. Yeah. So, and then any other last thoughts real quick about maybe just that whole acceptance? So
Sorry, what acceptance?
just accepting. So that was part of the YouTube video, like, or kind of what we did in our mini meditation where we decided, or, you know, I guided you guys to consider accepting how you feel and just instead of resisting, because that can be an automatic response too, just to like, it's like you get annoyed that you're annoyed or something like that, upset that you're upset. So any thoughts about like that acceptance piece of it?
That's something I actually think, well, you've talked about it a lot before.
Yeah.
And I do think I do that well. I also, I like allow my older son to like feel however he wants.
Yeah.
I like criticize him for being sad or mad or, you know, jealous, you know, any of the like traditionally bad feelings. So I just like I accept him doing it. And I think it's, and then I just kind of, you know, encourage a good response to those feelings as opposed to them, you know, it's like, well, yeah, it's okay that you're angry. Just feel it, but that doesn't mean you can yell or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think I've learned to accept my feelings too. Like sometimes, you know, if you're just feeling like, oh, it's just the worst day ever and everything's awful.
Yeah.
Just be like, well, I don't feel like I'm just gonna let myself feel this way and it'll pass.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Not true. You know, like.
Yeah. And I think kind of like just letting yourself feel that way, like Mary, you're saying you're feeling guilty. And so I think just sometimes like even allowing, as much as we don't want to, like those hard feelings of guilt, or, you know, even allowing some of the negative, like you're saying, just thinking negatively, like we don't want to think that way, but sometimes if we just sort of like accept how we are, you know, I think that can make a difference. Do you guys agree? Or
well, with the guilty case, I felt like it was something where I felt like I definitely needed to apologize in that moment. So, and that actually relieved the guilt, you know, like it kind of went away when I told my kids, you know, I was upset, understandably, but it's wrong for me. Like you said, like you don't yell. So I don't want to teach them that it's okay to just lash out at people when they're angry. Like it's okay to be upset, but don't yell. So I had to apologize to set the example. and then I felt better.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, right, because how we act definitely is like the way we're teaching, for sure. Like you're saying, being a role model, and that's like the best way to teach is how we act. And so I think kids really pick up on, how we are reacting and responding, and we're really teaching them. So, okay, well,
oh, sorry.
I wish we could keep going. I might have gone a little bit over here, but anyways, does anybody have any final comments or questions? Katie, were you about to say something?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, is this kid focused? Like, are we, because
I mean, I kind of ideally, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's fine. Like I kind of was like, picking all you guys being moms and stuff, but yeah, it could be whatever. I mean, you were relating it, I know, to a work incident or what, so yeah. But
say something else. I kind of forget though. So go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, wait, you forgot what you said? Oh,
forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, no worries. It's like kind of, yeah, it's a little bit late, but I appreciate it. You guys coming on line with me late here. Yeah, so any other just any final questions or comments here before we finish up? So it sounds like overall the breathing is helpful, and sort of sounds like, we all have those triggers that come up and different feelings that are going to happen because of whatever has happened in our past. So, it's usually, like you guys said, not always about what just happened like in the moment. It's about something else a lot of times, like the YouTube video had said, like Amanda pointed out and stuff. So anyways, I hope that we can continue to just deepen once again, our practice of not reacting and just focus on that healthier response here. So I appreciate you guys like sharing about, some of the feelings that, guilt or irritation, and I appreciate you sharing about your experience with meditation and so forth, and how that experience was. And I hope that you can translate that to more in your day-to-day life, that possibly practicing a little bit on your own, whether it's just a minute or 5 minutes. So yeah, you can always reach out to me too if you guys want any encouragement.
Will do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, thanks so much, guys. And
thanks, Callie.
Yeah, have a great night.